ABC, always be closing. It's my favorite thing to do.
That's from Glengarry Glen Ross. Always be closing.
Exactly.
Coffees are for losers. No, coffee's for closers.
Yes, coffees for closers. When you had made a suggestion for this title, I immediately thought of him. Absolutely just went right there.
What is it? First prize is a new car. Second prize is a set of steak knives. Third prize is you're fired. I love it. So, I'm Rich G.
A little brutal. I'm BJ Flagg, and this is episode 251, Closing the Sale. You're doing it all wrong.
Yeah, it's always a thrilling moment when you close a deal. That's why we're all here.
We love to help customers chase new challenges and in the process, hit all those numbers.
But sales closing is an art. And like art, the style of closing changes over time.
There's no one way to close a deal, but these tips will help you create a winning game plan. So let's have a conversation.
Great. So action number one is closing is the most important part of the sales process. I do a lot of workshops, and a lot of them are on closing the sale.
Yeah.
And most people suck at closing the sale. So closing the sale it's the critical time when all the chips are on the table and it's time to show your cards. My close that I give to everyone in my workshops, it's fairly simple. It's very easy. It's like, how does that sound to you? That's my sales close. How does that sound to you? And you shut up after it. The problem is too many people don't close effectively. Do you hope for the sale and never close? You just give them all the information and just hope and pray. Do you jabber on and never ask any questions? Do you move so fast that the client doesn't know what hit them? You need to let your closing have all the time in the world to occur.
Too many people spend the majority of their sales call talking about themselves, and they forget to give ample time and space to the closing. It's always an issue. People are just not organized in their closing.
Yeah, the client and you need that special time to discuss their real needs and align your services to those needs. Too often, the money part throws them off and they come up with objections. I'm getting objections. So guess what we're going to talk about in action two?
Yeah. Be prepared for the objections. When we're getting ready for that close meeting, we review the whole presentation. We think through all the objections the prospect could come up with, timing, price, details of the proposal. Think about how you're about to answer those questions thoughtfully and with a plan of how you can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, when you go in for the close, it's either yes, no, or an objection. Yes is great. It's wonderful. Almost no one says no. No one will go, nah, I don't think this is going to work for me. No one ever, they come up with an objection. And you're going to notice they might not be direct about what is bothering them. And you need to clarify the situation and work to tease out that objection. Don't ask about the price first. Ask everything else first. Is it a timing issue, Bob? Do you need the project done sooner? Do you need more add-ons that we have not estimated? Glad to give it another pass.
Yeah. And all of those things, if you get to the price question, take them through what they asked for and, go all the way back there and give them a value-based description of what your company will do. You want to instill in the prospect that value of what you do and how you'll be able to deliver on your promise.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you've rushed through it, right, they aren't, they don't have it in their mind all the things you're going to do for them.
Yeah, they forget. They get focused on the price
Yeah.
and they don't realize that most of the time it's an investment in their business, an investment in their career. And that, look, they're either going to procrastinate, not do it at all, or go to someone else who's probably going to charge more. So it's a toss up. It's frustrating. Action number 3, we're going to tap into one of our favorite authors, Jordan Belfort, who you probably remember from The Wolf of Wall Street. He has a closing technique. It's called certainty, sincerity, and reasonableness. And it's all about tonality. It's the way you close and get them to say yes with your tonality. Okay. So I'm going to show you it's certainty, then sincerity, then reasonableness. You give renew your business. That's the certainty. Believe me, you're going to be very, very impressed when we take your site from no visits to 10,000 visits. That's the sincerity. Sound fair enough? And that's the reasonableness. And the whole idea is to say, sound fair enough, and raise your voice at the end. And then you shut up.
I tell you, you present a certainty about your service, then you shift to sincerity, and you end with that reasonable close. Sound fair enough? They cannot disagree with you.
No.
Absolutely not. The answer has to be yes, which I just absolutely love.
Yeah, this tonality will zero in on their emotional ambivalence to commit and drag them to make a decision. Honestly, they've already made their mind up. They just haven't accepted their fate that they have to say yes.
Exactly. And, they started down that road and said, hey, in this example, I need a new website. So that's kind of like check off. They know they need a new website. It's going to be how your different services are going to fit into that mold.
Yes.
And if you can get them to just keep shaking their head and saying yes, you've got yourself a close. So action 4 is be ready for the onboarding. I can't tell you how many people will go into that last meeting and not have everything organized. And it just is maddening. I know it's happened to me. When we go into the meeting, we've already thought through the timeline and some onboarding steps. We really anticipate the prospect saying yes. It's almost like when we go into that meeting, we act as if we already have the business. And that is a positive way to begin that meeting. And then we can go right into the onboarding process.
That is such a great thing to do. If you go in with the positive attitude and the confidence and self-esteem, like we've got this, we're ready, we've got this contract, it almost brings the client along on the traveling. It's just they're just going to say yes. So have a contract ready, what they can pay, which is smooth and frictionless. And above all, don't leave that meeting without scheduling the kickoff meeting.
I know.
Best part. To tie them in, you lock them into that next meeting.
Exactly. And, show interest in their business and make sure to thank them. We send out a note saying that we're really looking forward to their project. This sets a tone for the relationship. You have two relationships going. One is your business relationship, but one is the caring relationship. And if you can bring those two together at the same time, that's what begins that much more strength to the trust, which is so great.
And begin as soon as you can. Do not let too much time go by because they start talking themselves out. You've worked hard to build the trust relationship and you want to use those good feelings to your advantage. It's kind of like you're going on a ride to Disney World and they take your ticket and money up front. And then there's an hour-long wait. You start going, I don't really want to do this and stuff. So show your interest to get started. Let them be the one who may need to move the start date due to a conflict they have. Never you.
Never. And Rich, tell us about our resource.
Okay. Of course, our resource is The Way of the Wolf, Straight Line Selling, Master the Art of Persuasion, Influence, and Success by Jordan Belfort. Jordan opens his playbook and gives you access to his exclusive step-by-step system, the same system he used to create massive wealth for himself, his clients, and the sales teams. But it's not illegal, okay?
Yes, so you know.
What he did. But this system, I've read the book and I listened to the Audible. Oh my gosh, it is phenomenal. It is such a great book.
What's so cool is it's written in his inimitable voice. So it really, you can hear him saying all the stuff. It's just so phenomenal. And, if you're really one of those who just loves the sales process, you're going to get so much out of him talking about the power of persuasion, how to bounce back from a devastating setback. He is a master at this. So it's a great book.
So go out and pick it up. I recommend it to many of my clients.
Definitely. And the audio version, you're right, Rich. You're right. It's a little scary when you hear it, but it's excellent. So good. Well, that's a wrap, and you know where to find us. BJ is at newrenew.com and Rich is at richg.com.
Yes, and we love doing these. We just celebrated 250 episodes. Now we're at 251. We're going to be shooting for 500. So we love this. Thanks to our producer, Richard Scalzo, for consistently delivering the best small business podcast every Tuesday.
Have an unbelievable week and catch you later.